Hello, Mr. Basil. How's it going, sir?
Very well. How are you, Alex?
I'm very good. Right, so this week we have a film called Destroyer, which I've seen on BBC iPlayer actually, but I think it's for rent or to buy on Amazon Prime, so it's available on both of them. But at the moment, BBC iPlayer shows it, and it's called Destroyer. It's a 2018 film with Nicole Kidman as pretty much she carries the whole film. To be honest, this one is also almost like it's made for her, and it tells the story of she's a detective, an aging detective, very living a hard life, to be honest, because of her one of her previous cases. So, and she used to be an undercover cop, I believe, and earlier in her career, something's gone wrong with that case when she was undercover, and now one of the bad guy from that got sent to prison at the time. Silas, I think, is out of prison, is back into her life basically, and is coming back with a vengeance.
And that's how you kind of get introduced to the film, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's pretty much how we get introduced to the film and to the character. But obviously she's not married. Nicole Kidman's character, Karyn, I believe is her name.
Right? I believe so. So you can clearly see that there's something not quite right. I think I don't know from the first initial scenes that I gathered. It's almost like she has been a drug addict and is still managing to work in the force or something, because she seems very docile. She's like the opening scenes, like she wakes up in a car, so she's been sleeping in the car, and she walks straight onto a crime scene, and obviously she's got her wits about her. She's obviously a very good detective and very, very respected in the police force, but is sleeping in a car, and you're thinking, okay, well, what's going on here then?
I mean, just from the way she looks, just from her appearance, the way she looks,
great
the way she walks,
makeup
the way
department.
she behaves.
I tell you what, great because
It
Nicole
just tells
Kidman's
you the
usually
story
very.
Of how,
Well, she's usually a very pretty woman, and in the flashback scenes from, I think it was like a flashback to 17 years ago, when you see kind of what happened earlier on in her life, she's this beautiful, attractive woman, and then 17 years on, she's this haggard, obviously seen harrowing sights woman who just looks in pain all the time. And I was going to ask you about this, because the film stipulates quite a bit that obviously Erin is, I don't know, got some injury, and especially towards the end. And when she's clutching her stomach and then she lifts up her top a bit, it looks almost purple, her stomach. Now, in the whole film, I swear I never saw her get injured in such a way. Did you pick up on that as well, or?
I did, but I think what that hint is, she gets quite a few beatings during the film, and it won't be a surprise that a few of her ribs got broken during that beating when she's on the floor, and then that pierced something. And that's how it looks like your abdomen. It gets more infected and swollen if you don't do anything about it. And it can go really wrong from it, to be honest, like an injury like that, if you don't.
Do you think that was just a small detail which the film did quite well in terms of details, because it's like, this was a film about real life, wasn't it? There's no glamour to this lifestyle, was there? It was very gritty. Sure. There's no big explosions or anything. It was the violence in the film was very minimal, but it was hard hitting when it happened, wasn't it?
Consequential. Yeah, and also, it's nothing fabulized. There's nothing over the top, because there's very little action in it, but the action is literally down to earth. There's no, you get hit in the face, she drops to the floor, because she's just a 6-year-old woman, which is like already skinny and already rough, living in a car. And I think the character is so well portrayed and so well put together that all these elements, exterior elements, without her even talking, just give a lot of story about her.
Yeah.
You can say that she looks like she's an alcohol addict or a drug addict.
Yeah, that's what I said. It looks like a drug addict. But I was, because essentially the film was about, 17 years ago, a bank job went wrong when she was an undercover cop. She was trying to, what would you call it? So she was an undercover cop with her love affair, wasn't she? So there's two undercover cops, and they thought that what they could essentially do, the premise of the film, is they could still rob the bank and pretend that they couldn't do anything about it as cops and play both sides, really. So they were going to keep a bit of the money for themselves, and they were still going to be innocent because they said, we didn't have anything, we couldn't prevent it. And obviously with the premise of that all going along, there's this story in the present day where she's still trying to get on with her daughter, who's now like 16, isn't it? So you see this present day story going on, and that was interesting. But go on.
Shows you the mother-daughter story. That's the drama of the film, which I really liked, because with all her backstory and the stuff that the Erin character, Nicole Kidman's character, has done so far, she now has to deal with the responsibilities of a daughter that, by the looks of it, is becoming her too.
Yes.
From the way the daughter behaves, and she's got that drama, and she needs to deal with that too, along with the past coming back to haunt her in the form of this Silas chap, bad guy.
Yeah. And it was just it was quite suspenseful, especially the scenes with Silas as well. When you see it 17 years prior, when they're just kind of in their element. So it's like a gang of like 7 or 8 of them. Yeah. The scenes with him in are really quite sinister. Actually, you can see that he's not to be trifled with at all, man. Proper gangster boss, you know. And it's like, even when like halfway through the film that she's kind of tailing someone, and she thinks she's onto a few leads, and then there's a scene where the person she's tailing just gets out of the car, knocks on a van, and then like 5 guys come out of it, all with, automatic machine guns, and that's a really sinister scene. And again, it's one of the scenes with Silas in, and it just shock you. It really shocks you. Like, whoa, this is scary, man. So it's a very scary film because it is so real. The film, it's very gritty. When I was watching it, to me, it was like playing Grand Theft Auto a little bit. The way it was filmed and the way it was shot, it's like Grand Theft Auto, but you've got a really gritty female character as the lead. And I don't know if you know what I mean by that when I say that, but it seemed like it was almost like game-like, the way the scenes would follow each other. It was like cut scenes from a game. I don't know if you know what I'm referring to.
It was
by
good.
That.
I didn't refer. I wasn't thinking of Grand Theft Auto straight away, but I did like the surprising that moment, and there's other moments when it's just literally the action flips on its head, and the character that you care for all of a sudden finds herself in a dangerous situation. There's a couple of times when this happens during the film, and I'm thinking, oh crap, how's she going to get out of this? But that particular scene, like you said, when she ends up in the middle of a bank robbery, continues all the way. This is about 15-20 minutes, that sequence after the bank robbery, which is really good. It's really gripping because it follows the story. It doesn't stop cutting or anything, just follows the story. So that's a good part from the director's side, but I can't remember her name again. I believe she's the director, Katsuya, something like that. I can't remember. It's an American director. She's done another good film called, she's done The Invitation.
Really? See, I was a big fan of that film. I really enjoyed that. I didn't know that was the same director.
Different style, that one, because it is, but because that's inside the house all the time.
That's always that plays all around the house, and that's very, again, but the suspense and the tension in that film is spot on, isn't it?
Yeah, so that is shown here. So it's good. Good recommendation. Good film this week. Destroyer with Nicole Kidman on BBC iPlayer.
And you wouldn't know it's Nicole Kidman if people didn't tell you. It really is like you've never seen her before, isn't it?
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Right. Okay. Talk to you next week. Yeah.
Take care, Alex. Bye.
See you later. Bye.